Well, hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. It is wonderful to be back with you today. My name is Amy and we are going to enjoy the next 2 hours seeing what comes down to the water. Starting off here at the beautiful Tau Game Lodge in the Dikwe Game Reserve in South Africa. And there's a big croc that's out busy sunbathing. In fact, it looks like it's a bit too warm with its mouth open there trying to cool down. Waterbuck ruminating there, quite a big male, and some impalas as well. Oh, the croc's on the move. Warm enough, heading back into the water. That's quite cool. Great start. Now remember everyone that this is of course a live and interactive show, so please do chat to me. Let me know who you are, perhaps where you're watching from, what you're looking forward to seeing today, anything along those lines that you'd like to chat about as we see what we see throughout the course of the show. You can do so through the Wild Earth website or the app. You can also chat to me through the YouTube chat stream, or you can join the conversation on X using the hashtag Wild Earth. Otherwise, you can now WhatsApp us through your mobile device. Just add the number as a contact, which will be shown to you on screen shortly. And then you can send through your comments and questions that way as well. Great timing with watching this croc on the move. Often we don't get to see them do too much. Most of the time when the sun is out, especially at this time of year when it's a little bit cooler in the evenings and the mornings, they love to just lie in the sun. Catherine, hello, lovely to have you with us. Penelope, yes, good to have you on board. And happy World Giraffe Day. Fingers crossed we get to see a few. One of my favorite places to view giraffes is up in Kenya at Oldonyo when they come and drink there, but we've had them across multiple locations, including here at Tau. Harriet, hello, good to have you on board. You say it's a lovely sunny Cape Town today. That is wonderful. Enjoy it. I know those sunny days in winter in Cape Town aren't always so common. Joanne, hello. Happy Saturday. And Lorraine, it is a beautiful opening scene and we can just see this croc. Can't decide whether it wants to be in or out. So getting the best of both worlds at the moment. Possibly finding that this individual was just overheating slightly on the bank and decided to pop down into the water to cool off. When there's this much sunshine around, they can easily go out again if they want to warm up later. I'm sure that there'll be lots of visitors here at Tau. We're very spoilt with a variety of animals that hang out, including maybe a herd of elephants later. That would always be lovely. Lots of zebras lately as well. The waterbucks and impalas are regular visitors here. And there's one single sort of note from a bird call that you can hear there, and that's the chin spot bat. This is a shortened call in winter. They'll often just give that first note of their 3-note call. And there's a water bug trying to get some water. I think very aware of the fact that a crocodile is just over there. And these are such beautiful antelope. I really enjoy looking at them, and just especially the females, how fluffy they are around the necks. I'm loving the last bit of greenery that's still here around the waterhole. You can see there are a few zebra far off, sort of in the bush line, and there were, I think, 2 red-billed teals that are around in the water. Spartan, when it comes to crocodile communication, there's a few different things that they use that are not dissimilar to many other animals out here that we spend time with. And they have vocal communications that they use. Sometimes they have sort of grunts, hisses, some guttural sounds when they are showing aggression or even territorial behavior, as well as mating. And then there is, of course, chemical indicators as well that they leave behind. And then, of course, visual communication that they also use to communicate with one another.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild.
Well, wonderful to start off the show today at Tau. Let's head over to Kenya and see if Elephant is still around at Oldonyo. Well, it's always such a majestic scene when an elephant is here at this waterhole. Now, yesterday we had a group of, it must have been at least 10 elephants that were around this patch. But today's just one. Who knows, maybe some others might come and join him. And here we get such beautiful sounds that come through while the elephants drink. Yes, Wildlife Lady, it is a beautiful scene. Here, quite cloudy, which is very much normal for this time of year in East Africa. So no views of the magnificent Mount Kilimanjaro just yet. Maybe one of these days it'll peek through again. There's a few doves arriving, and yes, the butterflies are also out and about, a few different species. It looks like maybe one or two of the jokers, and some of the more white ones with a black rim. I was wondering if that elephant was turning at all because something else was arriving, but right now it is just him. I love when they bend the foot like that. Sometimes they'll even rest their foot on their sort of toenails. Well, while this elephant enjoys his drink here, let's head over to Tembe. Where there are, of course, some more elephants here enjoying what looks to be a beautiful day in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Seems like the eddies here have created another muddy section for themselves there on the left, since the ones that are closest to us have dried up. The one on the right completely covered with mud there. Oh, there's a jacana. Two of them. Two African jacanas there. That's such a beautiful bird. It has to be one of my favorites. Now we've often actually, or this one's going to create some mud for himself. We've seen elephants do some rather interesting maneuvers to get themselves down into the mud and splash about. Maybe we'll be entertained today. Sometimes they try and sit or roll around. Wow, and he is doing just as good as a job as his friend who came before him. And that's clearly now the place to come for one's mud spa here at Tembe. Catherine, so I think it's a combination of factors. With this being clearly an area where water collects, there could be some natural pan systems that surround the waterhole. But yes, they have definitely been deepened by the elephants, and they've created these sort of wallows, as it were, where they come, and years and years of use have created these spots, these natural now, due to the elephants' usage, natural sort of indentations in the ground that have become mud wallows for the Ailey's. Yeah, Spas, they are really drawn to the mud. You can see that elephant now glistening in the sunshine. And probably going to go throw some sand on his back. You can see the one on the right has already done that. And I think it feels good. A little bit of exfoliation there. Throw it on and then go rub up against a tree. John, it is such a pleasure. For me, part of the beauty of the show is being able to just relax, slow down, take note of the small things, and also enjoy the sights and sounds of every waterhole.
Katika mwanga wa mwezi kivuli hutembea, mrembo mweusi anayepotea, macho yake ni taa, gizani huwaka, fuvu la msitu, malkia anayejificha.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
That elephant doing the classic pose there for us. I was talking about this when we were still in Kenya with that Ellie bull, and this one is resting his foot on his toes there, the front right. Oh, the one at the back's having a bit of an ankle scratch on that fallen over log. I find it incredible how precise they can be sometimes with where they particularly want to scratch. Oh, wow, the elephants enjoy their time here at Tembe. Let's head over to Camelthorn. Oh my goodness. Wow. I didn't know what we were going to find here, but this is really impressive. No wonder we heard the hippos here yesterday. I came here for the first time during the show yesterday, since we've had this waterhole added to the show, and we had some elephants drinking, and I was like, oh, what was that noise? It was obviously hippos, and now we've got so many of them out in the sun here, including one tiny one there on the left. Oh, it's just sat down. That was adorable. And how amazing to just see so many hippos out the water. I'm going to try and get a count for us. Wow, okay, so Mika's directing the show today, and she says that we've counted 60 here before out of the water. I counted about 40 now, with the others that are coming in from the left. And that little baby right in the, sort of in the middle of the screen now is standing up again. It is so small. Wildlife lady, it is so wonderful to see them out the water. It's something that doesn't always happen. I find it's area dependent, just based on their habits of certain pods. Although at the moment I would refer to this as a herd of hippos, since they're on the land. And I'm not sure if they are eating small shoots or something like that, or actually maybe eating some of the ground, which we know that animals do sometimes do to supplement their diet, practice called geophagia. But it could also just be the way they walk, because of course that mouth is adapted to be able to graze, and that head is very heavy for them to lift up, so sometimes they walk with their mouths down even if they're not actually eating anything. It's lovely to see a few of the... Oh, there's a little one in between. Oh, you can see some serious scarring. There's one on the left there, sort of on its hindquarters. Another one in front that's on its side. And those scars are actually most likely from other hippos. Especially young males are often the target of territorial disputes. And the tusks of another hippo can quite easily cause scarring on their bodies. But what an odd animal. It strikes me every single time. I mean, just the way that they live their lives majority of the time in the water. Of course, now being out, especially in winter, they feel a lot more comfortable coming out into the sun more regularly. Oh, look at that little one. But just the tiniest little ears on the head of a rather large animal. Look how wide they are. And very small sized feet, I think, in relation to the enormous size of their body. Melanistic marble, yes, they are great to watch, and just a little bit of an insight into the lives of animals, which we don't get too much insight into. To be quite honest with all of you, many of the times lots of the activity that they participate in happens within the water, under water level, which we don't get to see. And this is an awesome way for us, when they do spend a lot of time out the water, to be able to see more of their life that isn't quite so hidden from us. Well, I'm sure we might be back here to Camelthorne in Botswana, but for now we're going to head over to Old Donyo. Oh wow! Well, I thought maybe some elephants might arrive here. And And indeed they have. It's time for a pool party. Now from what I can see, these are all boys, a bachelor herd that have arrived here, quite possibly the same ones we had yesterday. But what is interesting to note is you can see some are bigger, some are smaller, some are actually very similarly sized. But what we can notice is how different all their tusks are. And if I have a look at this individual on the right, look how much thicker his tusks are in comparison to all of the other bulls that I can see, at least at the moment. He's probably a lot older, and you can see he's a little bit taller, how much wider that head is. Sunken in temples, which is just above the eye, part of the skull there that sort of sinks in with age. Always difficult to accurately age elephants, but in this case we've probably got a range between mid-teens all the way till about 40 plus years old, and ages in between that. Mindy, yes, it is absolutely a elephant takeover here at Old Donyo, and I'm definitely not complaining. While these elephants enjoy their pool party here, we are going to head back over to Tonga. Well, hopefully that feed gets a little bit more stable and we can head back there. But for now, we're going to relax here with these Ellies that are enjoying not quite a pool party, but there is at least one at the back that's having a marvelous time in the mud.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. Myself, I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko Dlovukazi ya xitsundzuxo hosi ya rhumela.
How cool is this?
Good up, yes. Spectacular pachyderms all round, whether in Kenya or South Africa. Sounds like some red-faced mouse birds that are in the background. Oh, inyalas. I was going to say impala, but it looks like actually there's those are some young male inyalas. Just starting to change colour there on the left anyway, the two. And one on the right still's got his stripes like the females and a bit orangey in colour. And that is something that happens with the male inyalas. They transition after a few years and they begin to, well, I think the transition starts happening when the horns start growing a little bit by little bit. And after a few years, they completely transform and are a brownish grey colour. They still keep their orange legs. You can see from the knee down to the hoof. And they get quite shaggy coats. I think some of the best looking antelopes in the bush. Jive Bunny, I have not, I've left Mabula, so I'm not there anymore. I haven't heard what happened to Eric's end of his sunrise drive, but I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. Always nice to have some excitement. Oh, that's very cool. Thank you. Well, that is so fantastic. I was lucky enough to be involved with my guests when I did my private safari at Mabula last week, actually, to go and be part of that with them. And everyone had a job to do, whether it was notching the ear or putting on monitoring anklet, just looking after the animal and all the little things that have to be done, taking samples, blood work, all the rest of it. And how awesome to be able to show you that live with Eric today. That is just fantastic. The Mabula team is incredible, and I'm so glad that you were able to showcase some of the incredible work that they do and have you all on board. It reminds me of when we did the rhino horn trimming live last year, and just the excitement of being able to share that with you all at home. It is marvelous, and I hope we can do much more of that going forward. But thanks for letting me know, Jive Bunny. That is awesome news. Picasso, hello. Thank you for your question regarding birds, the forming of the egg from conception or fertilization, should we say, when it comes to the actual, when it comes to the avian class and what happens in terms of the fertilization of the egg. And yes, I can imagine that with bigger birds, that whole process does take a little bit longer for them to be able to, well, the female to have the eggs form, or 1 or 2, maybe 3 in some of our larger birds. You just don't get so many in a clutch as some of the other species of smaller birds. Although if I even think of batises and things like that, they also have 2 or 3 eggs, not really more than that usually. And I think that also just has to do with the size of the egg and how many the female can form inside of her to then lay. And also if they hatch or are laid at different times or all at the same time, that also I think affects how large of a clutch she can have. But I do think that with larger birds it will be a little bit of a longer process than smaller ones. But I know that there's different adaptations that birds have. For example, cuckoos, the female can have that egg and lay it extremely quickly because they are brood parasites. They need to be able to get into the host's nest and drop that egg literally at the drop of a hat, as the expression goes. So Picasso, I will check if there's exact numbers of time, like a timeline that I can get hold of for you to compare, like a raptor to a blue waxbill, for example. But I think it's a safe conclusion to say that the whole sort of egg creation and fertilization process takes a little bit longer in a larger bird just because of the size. Seems like more of these elephants have arrived to the new favorite mud spot that they've all decided on. I think that's really the best place at the moment, where mud is available for them to throw on themselves. Alright, well, while these elephants enjoy their time at the spa, let's head over to Safari Hook in Namibia for some more elephants.
Join me, Danielle Carstens, in Mashatu, Botswana's land of giants. With over 1,000 elephants, leopards in nyala berry trees, and exclusive access to photographic hides, this is a wildlife photographer's paradise. I'll be there photo guiding you throughout, providing hands-on training and tips. Let's capture striking images together in one of Africa's most rewarding reserves. I would love for you to join me.
Best sighting I've presented. I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala. We got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special. Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
Because we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations, and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Ah, there's a springbuck. Looks to be maybe thinking of coming to have a drink. Oh, that bull in the middle now having a bit of a dust bath. Oh, wildebeest arriving. Oh, I think we're going to have a whole herd of wildebeest and zebra coming to drink here. You can see how those wildebeest are actually going down onto their knees to get lower down to where the water is. I've seen zebra do that as well, actually. Mindy, it is. It's always special to be able to see multiple species like this. And it gives you such, I feel like, an accurate sort of depiction or representation of the time at the waterholes, especially as we get into the drier seasons. Oh, there's an oryx. Marble, you were just saying how no sign of them at the moment. Well, there was a gemsbok, as we know them to be in southern Africa, and a whole load of zebra that have come to drink. It also is amazing to see just how much is actually around, but sometimes if we focus on one thing and don't scan around, you sometimes miss something that could be happening. So I'm glad we got to see just how much was actually happening there on the right. I think a few of the zebras are moving away, but still a few around, and we're seeing now this elephant that's busy throwing dust on himself. And you saw how those zebras actually waded into the water quite deeply. Here in Namibia, they don't have to worry about crocodiles. So usually where there are crocs, you don't see the zebras typically going belly deep into the water. Well, what a wonderful scene we have enjoyed here at Safari Hook. Let's head back over to Tembe. Oh my goodness, well, this is what I was hoping for. I was talking about how sometimes we've been very entertained by some of the elephants in these mud wallows and all the different odd positions they take sometimes to rub themselves in the mud. can see the African jacana still around, as well as a grey heron and some impalas in the background too. I feel like this elephant that's got his bum to us is wanting to also have time at the mud wallow, and the other one was like, I guess that means I have to move. We'll see how this all plays out. Jive Bunny, I know it's wonderful to just watch these elephants doing their thing. It is super relaxing and also entertaining, of course, to see them enjoying the mud. And what always goes through my mind when watching a scene like this is, what are they saying to each other? You know, there's one on the left there that clearly wants in on the action. Is he asking nicely, please? You know, can I have a spot? Is there sort of like, okay, well, I'm smaller than the other two, so I need to wait my turn. Fascinating to think about. And you can see this one that's facing us now. I think he's larger than the others, but probably already had a little bit of time in the mud earlier. And you can also see his ears are quite tattered, although the one on the left also has quite tattered ears, and I think maybe the vegetation around Tembe is quite harsh on the ear, leaving them quite tattered even at a relatively younger age. Wildlife lady, they are very lucky elephants, aren't they? I think in the world of elephants, mud wallow like this is highly sought after on a warm day. David, yes, I definitely think it is a rather warm day in the area. Definitely warm enough for the elephants to want to cool down and splash themselves with mud like this. I don't know if any have gone for a full swim. We did see one having a swim yesterday briefly. They didn't really splash around for too long, but he did submerge his whole body in the waterhole. Sandy, you say good morning. You're definitely late this morning, but that's okay, Sandy. Better late than never.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
amazing when one goes a little bit closer to see not only a grey heron there, but also a little three-banded plover. Oh, goodness me. Did the elephant fall? Or did it just have a very quick, I don't know, movement downwards? I feel like it's trying to cover its fall now, being like, no, I meant to do that. Well, this is what I was hoping for. Some interesting moves. Oh, watch out, little Jacana. Is the second one going to try and fit in with him? I really do think there's only space for one. I feel like the one is like, no, there's not space for two of us here. You can hear Somber Green Bull doing the first two notes of its call quite prominently here at Tembe compared to other locations. It's probably the most common here. They like sort of the top treetops in more foresty type habitats. I think these two are having a great time together. Oh, quite a bit of mud around there. Alright, well, while these elephants enjoy their mud wallowing, let's head over and see what's happening at Nkoro. Oh wow, quite busy here, even with a hippo in the water, some zebras and impalas. A few oxpeckers that I can hear calling. It's just about to comment on how still the hippo is, and then it lifted its head. But this is typically what we see from hippos in comparison to camel thorn, where we had 40 plus out the water. We usually see them lying like this during the day. I remember recently we were in the Kruger National Park near one of the camps in the sort of central south region, known as Satara, where there was a smaller waterhole in comparison to some very large ones that you get in the area. And there was what looked to be, it was a hippo, but it literally had not moved an iota for the entire time that we sat watching it, which must have been close to an hour. No signs of breath or anything. We said, oh, I'm sure this hippo, it must be dead. And anyway, we came back the next day. It was in exactly the same spot. We thought, okay, well, maybe if it has died, maybe, hyenas or there'll be lions or something will try and come and eat it. And then it moved a nostril and we realized it was still alive. But incredible how still they can make themselves.
I feel it is a rosetted morning for us. So yes, let's see what we can find.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Mpho Muthusi Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, it's my first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was at this Cedric when we had Muluwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
Now, usually in the sort of the summer season, many of these animals would have sought out shade by now. But although it's warm, by the looks of things, I don't think it's excessively hot, and they're still comfortable being out in the sun. In fact, they're probably enjoying it with the very chilly early mornings that we're experiencing out on Game Drive at the moment. David, it is indeed a beautiful scene. You can see how many animals do sort of congregate now in the drier times around waterholes. And yeah, what a beautiful view from Nkoro Lodge there. You can basically see the view that the guests have, of course, from the other side. But it's really awesome to see so much life around in these open plains here. Well, a beautiful scene indeed here at Nkoro. Let's head back over to Tau. Ah, our friendly croc has come out the water. Well, I don't know if it's exactly the same individual, but I do know that this one was recently in the water with the little bit of shine that's on the body from recently coming out of the water. Time to sunbathe again. Debbie, yeah, interesting question with how strong the tail of this crocodile would be, and fairly strong. The zebras are arriving for a drink. That's actually where their power comes from, in being able to move so sort of sneakily through the water, but also being able to launch themselves out and attack. That tail is incredibly powerful. Randy, it's not something that they sort of, I think, actively pursue when there's other grazing available, but I know for a fact we see the waterbuck that come across through the water and feed on some of the grasses that are growing right sort of in the swampy area of this waterhole that's still very wet. So they definitely can feed on aquatic plants if they need to. Doesn't look like there's been any elephants around here at Tau today. We've got a little while left of the show. Hopefully one or two make an appearance. We're going to have a little bit of a scan around and see maybe if there are any elephants that have come down here at Tau. We do usually get a mixture of breeding herds as well as a few bulls. Ooh, that is probably two stallions having a go at each other. You can see that biting. And a zebra has a mean bite. And often when you see a zebra with part of its tail missing, it's been caused by another zebra that's bitten it off. so many zebras out and about here at Tau. It really is quite beautiful to see them moving through the plains like this. Wow, incredible to see how the change of season has now arrived at Tau and how much browner the vegetation is. We are going to head over to Safari Hook. What everyone was hoping for. I didn't know where it was going to happen, but here we have a beautiful giraffe on World Giraffe Day who's come for a drink here at Safari Hook. Shiv, I think you are indeed warmer than at least where I am in South Africa at the moment. It's I think 22, 23 degrees or so. So I do think you are having a warmer day at 30 plus degrees in the UK. Enjoy. This boy has been taking his time, as giraffes do. Ever the cautious animal. Very thick neck, just taking note actually how short this one's horns are, or ossicones. It seems like its right one might be a little bit, maybe broken slightly.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our Fed Air Lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild. Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
All right, let's head back over to our giraffe on World Giraffe Day at Safari Hook. Right, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to get back over there. As soon as we can, we'll head that side. But we were just enjoying some zebras here at Tau. very lazy croc that is actually looking very yellow. I'm not sure if it's just because of the way the lighting is falling on him or her, but often crocs can look quite sort of greeny in color with a bit of the darker spots on them. But this individual has quite light scoots with some of the darker stripes actually quite regularly along his side. Trevor, yes, crocs do, well, they are able to catch prey outside of the water, although their sort of specialty, I would say, is when they can use the cover of water to get really close to what they want to prey upon and then sort of launch a surprise attack. But that doesn't mean they're not capable of hunting out the water and targeting whatever presents itself as an opportunity to be able to get an easy meal.
This unfolds in front of you.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Emojis. Best part of my job is coming to see nature. Worst part of my job is logging. That's the worst thing ever, because you have to log amount of footage. You sit in front of that computer and yeah, you think of deleting the footage, but no, they need the footage. If I want a camel, probably a soccer player. I know some people don't believe me, but I'm very good, and I'm very fast.
Penelope, yes, this croc is a beautiful crocodile indeed. And although somewhat intimidating from afar, they can be appreciated. Well, lovely to admire this crocodile. We are going to head up to Kenya for the last few minutes of the show. Well, here are a few elephants still hanging around, and wow, look at that one on the right. Well, now the middle left, with that very long one tusk, resting his trunk on it. Oh wow, and that bit of sunlight coming through. How handsome are these boys? Well, I couldn't imagine a better way to finish off the show with what we've been able to see today. I'm glad we got to see a giraffe, even if it was for a brief while on World Giraffe Day today. But it's been a wonderful show, very relaxing time with you all. We do always appreciate everyone's comments and questions that you sent through along the way. It's always wonderful to chat and to discuss some interesting topics. Remember that we will be back with Live at the Waterhole tomorrow, although I won't be with you. I do hope that you have a wonderful show, as well as Sunset Safari that's coming up in half an hour right here on Wild Earth. Alright everyone, I wish you a pleasant day or evening ahead, depending where you are in the world, and we'll chat again soon. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. Today we will be going on an adventure through some of South Africa's most beautiful wildlife havens. Our locations are unique, they are diverse, and they are at the forefront of ecotourism and conservation. The landscapes are spectacular, the wildlife is incredible, and we will be looking at all the interesting flora and fauna and